everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to a new playthrough. This time we're going to be playing Hero Realms. Yeah, I've played it before and this is what the base game looks like, but it has recently had an expansion. It is Hero Realms, the Ruin of Thandar. Now, in this it creates a campaign. Now, typically this is a competitive, or if you got some extra components with the base game, it can also be a cooperative adventure, but now it's a cooperative adventure with advancement and storytelling. So they've added to that, which is neat. Now, to play this, you do have to have the character decks. The way the rules read, I don't think you can play it without them, and that's okay because the game is infinitely better with the player decks, so you're each playing a character class. And we're going to touch on that momentarily. I've got the game mostly set up, but I wanted to talk about the adventure first. We're going to read the adventure, then I'm going to do the final step of setup, just so I can show you kind of how that's going to work. And then I'll talk about each of our characters, and then we'll get playing. Now, in the Ruins of Thandar, things are a little bit different. Our characters are considered nearby each other if they're adjacent. So the way I have it set up is I have our Thief in first place, a Wizard in second, and Ranger in third. Those are the three players we're going to play with. The Thief and the Wizard are nearby, and the Ranger and the Wizard are nearby, but the Thief and the Ranger are not nearby, and in between them is our bad guy, our master. And you'll see how that works. I'll explain that as we go. But first off, let's get into the story of this and let you know this is a whole other set. There's a lot of other cards with it that go along with the game, and it's got a lot of neat stuff with it. In fact, you do replace, and I'll talk about this when we get to the characters, you do replace some of their cards. So let's talk about this first scenario. This is called, it's Chapter 1, Encounter 1. It's called Encounter 1 Bar Fight, okay? And it tells me how I need to set this up. It says, the master for this first encounter is enthralled regulars. And I'll show you what that means. Place the oversized enthralled regulars cards in the master's seat at the table. And this is why I talked about nearby and all that good stuff. You'll get that. Face up. With the one showing, so it's the first level one. And the level icon, set up the master's deck. We're going to do that, and then we're going to continue on with the adventure. I'm going to show you why what's different about that and what's important. So I have the deck mostly set up, but I wanted to show you his card. This is the master's card. It's two-sided. This is the first level, and when he gets a certain number of cards noted by these three diamonds here, he will advance to the next level. Hopefully we kill him before he does, because he's got 50 hit points, starting health right there. And he's got these special abilities are going to come up as he draws cards. Now, in addition to the normal deck and the normal play, we're also in this bar fight, apparently. We'll read the story in just a moment. But he also has some special abilities, so he's going to be doing extra stuff for us. Now, you see I have these sets of cards laid out here. There's 5 of them. When you start, you divvy up the cards into a set of even distribution of 5, and if you have any left over, they go into the middle deck as close as you can get to an even distribution. Now, I'm not going to really read the cards. I just wanted to show you this one. In each of these 5 piles is a mastery card, and you see it's got the same symbol as was on the enthralled regulars card. When 3 of these come into play, that's when the master will level up, basically. And within there's going to be several cards. There's going to be minions. There's going to be hazards. And so what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle these 5 piles, and we're going to stack them in the order that we placed them out. So starting with the very last one, we're going to take this little deck of cards, and we're going to shuffle it all up, and then that will be our bottom deck, and then we're going to take this one. Now, we don't shuffle them up once we've done that. We just shuffle up the separate piles and put them on top, because it's meant to spread out those mastery cards. So there is, as you can see, we're forming our deck, and that will make up the enemy's stuff that he's going to do. Hopefully we defeat him. Don't know, I haven't played it this version before, and I've only played the base game with the main characters, which is neat. I like it. So, and in the middle deck there was a couple extra cards, so the middle deck is slightly larger. So we're going to just do this. And that means that we have now prepared that deck for the villain. I'm going to go put it on the left-hand side of the villain's card, because we're going to display things out. Actually, they call it the master's card. We're going to display things out in that direction as the story goes. So now we have done that part of the setup, which is part of the story that we deal with. And then we're going to read the story itself. Okay. Make sure you can see it okay. It's early evening at the inn at the Four Rivers, and the place is crowded with humans, elves, and a dozen or more races, all eating, drinking, singing, and shouting. You're seated at your usual spot in the back corner, enjoying a horn of ale and wondering what to have for supper, when a crash and a clatter from the nearby door turns your head. You see an upended table, broken dishes, and spilled drinks, as well as an angry-looking dwarf shoving an equally furious orc. You watch with only mild interest. Fights are common at the Four Rivers. Then you notice the smoke. Black cloudy tendrils flow across the floor of the inn. Well, this can't be good, guys. Whenever the smoke touches a customer, their eyes go wild, and they surge to their feet, weapons drawn. You quickly realize the inn is under attack by a sinister enchantment. As fight after fight breaks out, your eyes track the smoke back to its source, a group of cloaked figures by the door. Their garb and markings call the Necros cult to mind, but there's something off about them. You rise and ready your weapons. Whilst seeking a path through the choking smoke towards the intruders, a barrel of ale smashes to splinters at your feet. Looking up, you find a trio of crazed customers charging towards you. You'll have to subdue them quickly in order to get to the source of the dark magic. Play begins with the player who has the master's seat to their right. Well, we're going to do this in a way that's going to be easy for me. I'm going to track thief, wizard, and ranger, but the master's going to go first anyway. So we're going to assume that the thief is to the right of the master, which means the ranger is to the left of the master. It'll all make sense. We're just going to go in order. Okay. So there's only really 2 steps to play. We're going to take the master's turn, and then we're going to take the player's turn. And it's just going to go like that. It's really that simple. So let us cover the characters, and then we'll get started. This is our thief. You see I'm using some dice to display hit points instead of the cards. This is our thief character. She's got 52 health right now. And she starts with these 2 abilities. Now, you replace these cards with the same cards. These are 2-sided ones. But the original cards don't accommodate for this scenario or story-based play. So you replace their in-play abilities with these campaign abilities. So heist and pickpocket are the 2 abilities that they start up, and they're something that they can use and then will get rid of, unfortunately. And then, of course, their deck, and she's going to start by drawing 5 cards out. Going to shuffle, and that's going to allow us to start the turn. So we'll just do one more cut there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to lay the cards out so we can see what they get. Well, so she's got a ruby. Her ruby is good. Let's back up. That's going to be worth 2 gold. And if you played Star Realms, and I'm going to assume you know Hero Realms already, or if you don't, go back and watch my video. I will put it up in the cards, which will be a little eye in the upper right-hand corner. You can go see that playthrough. But we got some very little purchasing power this turn. We do have our bag of holding, which is good. It's an item, it's a magic bag, and it's one of her starting cards, which is cool. And then we have 3 throwing knives. So we got some damage we can do and that sort of thing. I'm not going to get into the abilities until we use them. But again, the heist and the pickpocket abilities, those things are typically one-time game use things. But like the heist says, the next time you acquire a card this turn, you may acquire another card of the same faction and or equal value for free when you trash. See, that's the trash symbol. That means when you trash this card. This one means, and I think this means you put it back in your deck. I have to go remind myself of symbology. If you can target the master, gain 3 health, and look at the top card of their deck, you may put it into the master's discard pile. So that means we get to discard a little faster. And I am going to pull out the symbols. I want to remember what all the different symbols are in the game. It's not tough. There aren't that many, but yeah, that means expend, which means you tap it basically. When the icon left text box is indicated as expendability. So, and then there's sacrifice, which means you trash it, it's gone. And then there's other cards that we'll be putting into play. You'll see how all this rolls out as we go. There are also factions. and skills and all kinds of neat stuff. That is our thief, and again, I'm not going to go over, we'll deal with more of the abilities later. Let's go and just draw the cards for the wizard. You can see that our wizard has a big fireball that he can throw, and he's also got this channeling ability, which he has to expend and spend some money on, and that's how their special abilities work. We're going to do a quick shuffle and a cut, and they'll get more cards in their hand as they go, but we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, see what he gets. He's going to get Ignite, Spell Components, and 3 gold. That's his starting hand. So as we play this out, we will have more cards come out. Some of them will stay in play, some of them won't. We'll play it out as we go. That's pretty good. And then we're going to go on to the Ranger and see what his first starting hand is. And by the way, the Wizard has 50 hit points as opposed to the 52 for the Thief. And the Ranger has 58 hit points, which you can see on the die right here. He's got 2 abilities, Track and Headshot. Headshot, it basically stuns a target minion. That means they go into the discard pile, and then you discard it, trash it, and then you get to draw another card. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to cut. We're going to go 2, 3, 4, and 5. See what he gets. He gets his hunting bow, nice, ruby, and 2 gold, and his Horn of Calling, which has some other money and special effects. We'll see what that looks like. Okay, and by the way, just so you know that the reason this game hit the table first is I took a poll, an informal poll, just to ask people what they wanted to see me play, and I gave them choices. The 2 that came up the most were this and First Martians. This was edged out because my patrons asked for the majority of my patrons asked for this one. So they're both going to get played. This one's just going to get played before First Martians, then we're going to get to that one. So not sure how long this will be. Okay, last thing we need to look at is the market. Even though we're in a Baller Brawl, we have the market in front of us, which allows us to purchase things. We can defeat enemies and purchase items. Like this is an enemy right here. So we can defeat her, and then this goes into our card and it gives us ability later on. Actually, there aren't any enemies in here right now, are there? No, there's allies. These are allies. This is a spell, Dark Energy. So we'll see some bad guys come out that we have to fight. But for now, we'll just see these cards come out. There's a big stack of market cards that will come out. All right, well, I think that is it. Now, in the normal game, oh, that's right, I don't think there are any enemies in here. In the normal game, you're competing with each other, not the bad guy. In this game, we're competing with the bad guy. So I think we're going to get started and get our master to draw his first card. Okay, so it's time to draw the first card off of the master's deck and see what he gets. It's a Ruinous Disciple. Okay, this is going to give him 3 attack, and it gets expended, and it also has the symbol. So we're going to do things in order, a bunch of orders. Let me get out the book, because it specifies in the book how you take those actions. So on the master's setup, okay, we flip over the top card of the master's deck, and then we are going to do some things. Now this is going to be going against the active player, which is our thief. Remember, our thief is going first. So this is I don't think it's an elite minion. No, it's just a minion. So for any other minion, put it in front of the active player. So that minion is going to go in front of the active player. It's going to be doing damage, right? So, oh, you know what? That minion also defends the villain. Has defense. It'll defend other minions. Or am I sure that's not a? Let me think about this again. I haven't played this yet, so I gotta really look at the cards and see how it goes. So yes, this is accurate. This minion is not a elite minion. It's just a minion, so it's going to go in front of the thief, and then in one of the next steps, step 3, I believe, it's going to actually attack our thief. So I'm going to. You know, one thing I do wish is it's got this little book, and it works, but it would have been nice if they had a turn order, like just a card or sheet that was much easier to follow than this one. Because you have to read it a couple of times to make sure you get it right. So it says for any other minion type, that means not an elite minion, put it in front of the active player. If the minion has, no mastery cards, then you go to step 3, and then it uses each of its minions in the active play area. And play areas are explained on page 15. See, it even makes you jump around. So an area, each player as well as the master has their own area. So this one is in this player's area. So this one's going to activate now. Players in the minions area activate every turn, where this one will only activate against the thief if it's not killed. but it is going to expend to generate 3 damage against our thief. Our thief really can't do anything about that right now, so that will put her down to 49 points of damage. Got to find the 9. There we go, 49. And that means that minion is expended. And then and she has some flavor text there. The Necros believe demons are a means to an end. The Ruinous believe demons are a means to the end. Well, this is one of the Ruinous, right? Now we also take a look, and you see that there's this orange symbol up here, and it says that in this case, the enthralled regulars would heal 2 points, but they are at full. Let me show you. See right here, that was the symbol in the corner. It means that they heal. But they're not going to, because they're already at full health, so it's just going to stay there. Now, that was the entire attack for the enthralled regulars against the thief this turn. Now the thief gets to take her turn. Now we get to play things in any order, and I can play to attack the minion, or I can play to attack the villain, the enthralled regulars, or I can get rid of the guy that's in front of me that just did some damage. I can do all kinds of things. But what we are going to do is we're going to take a look first at this bag of holding, because this says draw a card at the end of the turn. When you draw a new hand, draw an additional card. So we're going to play that. That's going to allow us to draw a card immediately. So we get another gold. That means we got 3 gold to spend in the market. And we'll do that part next. We're going to go buy a card. And then eventually, then all these will end up in the discard pile. This is like any other deck building game. And we also have 3 to attack. Now, with the 3 attack cards that we have, I'm thinking, do I start off just by stunning this guy and sending him back to the discard pile? He's already not going to do anything until my next turn. Or I could do 3 points of damage to the villain. Ultimately, destroying the master is how we win. So I think I'm just going to let that guy sit there with me, and we're going to do the damage to the enthralled regulars instead. So I'm going to take these 3, and it says also you get +2 for each knife you've already played this turn. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be a total of 7 damage. Actually, I can split that damage up. I think I will. So I'm going to do 3 against these guys and kill and get them. That'll go in the master's discard pile then. And then with the 50 points, I'm going to do another 5 and put the boss down to 45 points of damage. And I have a feeling they're going to heal up quite a bit. So let's get some damage on them right away. And then we now have 3 coins to purchase in the market. Let's see if there's something we want. Like Star Realms, these factions oftentimes stack upon each other. So like you see this Gorg Orc Shaman, if you played another faction symbol card before it that has the same faction, it would actually give you 3 combat. For example, this guy here, if you play this spell Spark, and you had already played, like if I had him and played him and then played this, it would give me a bonus of 2 damage. That's pretty darn good. But remember, I have 3 coins to use right now, and I think I will actually take this guy into our hand. Now this is going to go in our discard pile. He's going to cost me all 3, and that means we have taken our turn. We now end our turn with the cards all going into the discard pile, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically we get to flip over the remaining cards. It's going to be mainly gold because we had all our attacks in the first one, so there's 4 gold. And yeah, look at a bunch of gold. Next turn we're not going to be able to do any fighting. And we have our discard pile ready to go. Okay, just going to put that down here next to the deck. All right, let's continue on now. Now we're going to move on to our wizard's turn. You know, the first thing we do is we draw a card from the master. So let's see what the master gives us. Oh, the master got the first of his mastery cards. So we're going to put that right here, and it's yellow, so he's going to heal 2. So yeah, that's why he thought, man, I did all that great damage, but he's already back up to 47. Let me find the 7 on this die. I do think that the dice are going to be a better way to track this. So he's at 47. He's almost back up to health. So hopefully we're going to get to do some damage to him again this turn with the wizard. But that's it. There was no minions, nothing to fight. We're starting off a little easy with him. Oh, and I forgot to place the card in, replace the card rather, in the market. So we got this wolf form spell. So the wizard's liking all these spells coming out. All right, let's take a look at Mr. Wizard. I almost forgot with our thief. I almost blew it. She had her bag of holding, which means at the end of the round, we draw an extra card. So I'm going to shuffle up her discard pile and give her an extra card for next round. Okay, and I'll just cut it there. What do we get? The bag of holding again. Awesome. That's a good card. I like the bag of holding. All right. Now we can go on to our wizard. All right. So we do know that he's got 3 gold, but he also has his spell components. It says 1 gold, and the next action you acquire this turn costs you 1 less. So that means we're looking for something that says action on it. It acquires 1 less. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what we could do is we could get this big wolf form. Or we could, actually, let's do this dark energy. It's 4, well, why not spend the whole amount? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, but this one reduces an action by 1, so we can get this big guy, except that gives me, it starts giving me some spells to work with in that category, as opposed to taking the ones that the thief started working on. But I do think this is worth it, so for purchasing, we're going to get this card. Okay, and then we have 2 attack power for this turn. And I think he will just use his ignite on the on our bad guy and do 2 more. Take back the 2 points of damage that he just healed. So that puts him back to 45, and still a long way to go. That's going to end the wizard's turn. So we're going to get the discard pile going right here, and we're going to draw 5 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be 5 right there. Why there's 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, anyway, got 1 in the discard pile then, and we got his fire staff, book of magic. I want to make sure I didn't get a gold, his cat familiar, which will go out, and a gold. Okay, so he's got 1 more card in his deck. I'm just going to see what that is. Like, yeah, okay, it's right. All right, we'll look at his hand next turn and see how he's going to react. That's going to be the end of his turn. So the next thing we do is we draw the Master's card. We're going to the Ranger's turn now. Okay, what does the Master draw? Now remember, this is the easiest deck, and I'll show you something else. See, all these have a 1 in them? That means that they are a level 1 encounter. So they're not really bad encounters. But this Charging Drunk is going to go after our Ranger. It says unaware. Nearby players deal double damage to this minion. So he's Charging Drunk, so the wizard can deal double damage to this guy on his turn. He takes 4 hits to defeat, and he's going to expend himself to do damage. He also is going to do green, which means it's going to force our ranger to... Our ranger's going to take damage and discard a card, which I'll show you in a minute. First, he's going to come here, and then that's it. So we don't have enough mastery cards to level up, so the next thing that happens is we tap that guy. He attacks our ranger for 4 points. Our ranger really can't do anything, so he drops down to 54 points. And then I'm going to put the hits for the bad guy right in front of up above, so I can show you his card. He also, see that symbol there, the green symbol on the bad guy, right there, matches this one. It says 2 points and discard a card. So our ranger's going to have to discard one of his cards. I think he's just going to discard a gold. We'll just discard a gold there. So that goes into his discard pile for now. And I'm going to put his discard pile on the other side of him, so I don't mix it up with the wizard's cards. So he did that, and he takes 2 more points of damage, putting him at 52. And that is basically there is the villain's turn. So now the ranger, what has he got to do? You can see his cards here. He's got his 2 big abilities. We're not going to use those yet. But we have his hunting bow for 2, and we got 2, 3, 4 gold. But his horn of calling says the next champion you acquire costs 1 less. But there is a champion in there. But it's only worth 2 anyway. But that means we could get maybe 2 things. We got 2, 3, 4. The champion costs 1, based because of this. So that we could spend these 3 right here to get devotion, which is a healing spell. We don't have any of those. We'll get devotion. So we'll get that. We can also then spend this with the -1 for a champion and get this Tithe Priest that will go into play with us. Now you see that it has to be defeated by the bad guys. So that's pretty good, and we will take those and then discard. That will become his discard pile, except for he still has an attack of 2. He cannot kill the this guy with the attack of 2, so there's no point in doing it. So he's just going to use that and hit the our big bad guy. Okay, for 2 points, so that means he will go down to 43. Yeah, 43. So we're doing some damage, but it's not a lot. And then we got to refill the market. Now, by the way, we always have these 2 coin fire gems that we can take just as a point. But we got these 2, and then we're going to add 3 more to it. So we got a raiding party, which is another nature guy. 3 gold. He does some damage and gathers some gold. We have this afterlife spell. We'll see what that does when we need it. And then we have Prophet. It's an action that the thief would like to have, I imagine. Because the thief herself has cards that have that symbol on it, I believe. The blue symbol. I guess not. But anyway, those are the types of things that the thief would like out of her deck. Okay, then we're going to draw the final cards for the Ranger. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1 left over. So there is always 1 left over, I guess. Okay. All right. Well, this is what he's got. He's got his. He's got 3 gold, and his black arrow, which is 1. But if you have a bow in play, you could draw a card. We don't. And then he's got a Stone of Seeking, which is an item. It says, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your hand. The rest go on top of your deck in any order. Okay, well, we're going to have to shuffle to do that. So we'll do that next turn. And that's basically the end of the Ranger's turn. So we have completed a full round against the bad guy. We did a little bit of damage to him. He's got 7 hits against him, but he's done some damage to us as well. Everybody except for the wizard has taken some hits. Okay, we're going to end this video right there. That's 1 full round. Next turn I'll probably do 2 full turns each video, and I'll explain less because you'll get the flow of the game. So guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this playthrough, and we're going to try and get to these bad guys that are creating some horrible enchantment that's causing everybody in the bar to try and kill each other. That's rough, man. So anyway, guys, this is going to be Heroes Realm, the Ruins of Thandar, and we are going to play. We're playing the very first scenario. So I will say, just remember, there are some spoilers in this, but they're not major. You just get to see kind of how the game plays out. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for all the subscriptions, all the likes. Please join me on Twitch and follow me there so that you can see all my live action games that come up. And you can also join me on Doug's digital board on YouTube, where I am playing other video games in that as well, and digital versions of board games. I'm still posting some of those digital versions of board games, like my Tomb of Annihilation, which is based on the D&D board game, on my main channel after it's been live, just so people don't miss it if they haven't subscribed. I also, guys, if you follow me on Twitter at DougMysticGuy, I always tweet before I go live, so you can see what I'm doing there as well, and pop on over to Twitch or something, or Doug's digital board and watch it live. So, guys, take care, thanks, and I will talk to you next time.